Hello there, and welcome to another video on 4 quarters and 2 halves. It's well and truly World Cup season, and we're super excited to be here. It only happens every 4 years, and it's a very exciting time for a football fan. And as you can see, my buddy here is wearing the Zambian jersey to be in the mood.
Yeah,
right?
because I remember Zambia, this was 6 years ago when they made the AFCON. It's the under-20 tournament. And I just remember that atmosphere and it just brings me back the memories. And I know World Cup is much bigger than that, much bigger than AFCON. But I just wanted to get into that groove and get ready for the World Cup because this year's World Cup is the most controversial, possibly, hopefully the most entertaining it ends up being. And there's so much to look forward to this World Cup.
Yeah, and I'm sure you can look forward to Zambia playing in the World Cup with that jersey.
Maybe 2026 when they play it in the US.
When they play here.
Yeah. You never know.
Like you said, there is a lot happening in this World Cup. Inside the football pitch, outside the football.
Yeah.
A lot of controversies going on as well. I'm looking forward to unpack that. And the agenda of this whole video is kind of to just go through the group stages, see who's going to come out of it, and sort of get an idea as to who we think is going to do well, who's not going to do well.
Yeah.
Dark horses, winners, losers, etc. And before we get into all of that, I think we have to address the fact that this is literally the first time in history that we're having a World Cup in December or in the winter. When the sun isn't shining out here in the West, especially in Canada. Yeah.
It's weird because we always we'd be in school, we'd be out of vacation in May, and June the World Cup season comes in and we're all excited to watch it.
Right.
No school and ready to go on, and now we're here many of us will be in school, many of us will be maybe in university, and they have to watch the World Cup during lectures, which is a little weird for us. But
I'm going to be at work during some of this, because if you didn't know, in Canada the games are usually going to range from 5 a.m. in the morning to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So I'm definitely going to have my game on every now and then on the side when I don't have much to do.
It's weird because it's mid-season. The players have gotten 5 days of rest technically,
right?
And it's weird because usually they, even if with the Champions League final in the summer, they usually have 2 weeks of a camp or a rest. This is 5 days, and because of this mid-season World Cup, we have seen a lot of injuries come up for some players, and it has affected their participation in the World Cup. Specifically, the elephant in the room for this is Sadio Mane for Senegal, who recently has been ruled out for the World Cup, even though he made the squad, which is very unfortunate because I'm pretty sure Mane wanted to play in this World Cup, especially after winning the AFCON, taking them forward. And now he's been ruled out. In his peak years, he's not going to have this opportunity again. But it is what it is. The World Cup will still go and we'll still have a good time.
I sort of disagree with what you said, though. I think that the World Cup happening during the off season, in the middle of the season, is, yes, there are injuries, but that would be the case even if it happened in the summer. Someone could get injured towards the end of the season if it happened in the summer. And it's quite similar if you see. It's just a person's luck sometimes, you know. Sadio Mane could have been injured at the end of the season and he wouldn't have made the World Cup. No one would have batted an eye, you know. And it's just unfortunate that it had to be moved because of how scorching it is during the summer days in Qatar. So I personally think it's all right to be moving it because if my memory serves me right, we've never seen a Middle Eastern country host the World Cup,
and there's no other way for them to host it if it's not.
Exactly.
I agree with that. I don't have a problem with a lot of the things. That's apart from the mid-season part, I think that's the most of the problem for me. I don't have there's other political
Let's stop the season. Let's go.
Let's stop the season. Arsenal fans would be saying that. Let's stop the season.
Stop the season.
Yeah. So I don't have as much issues with the political part because I don't have much understanding in that. But the mid-season problems, that'll happen, like he said, even in the middle of the season, anyone can get injured at any point, even at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, football has to be played every part of the world, and it had to be going
It's
to the
the
Middle
world
East.
sport, right?
Exactly, and that's what FIFA had trying to encourage. That's why they had a South African World Cup in 2010. And yeah, I'm okay. I'm happy it's going to the Middle East. I think it brings in more people from the Middle East, more teams from the Middle East, which you won't see. It's usually the South American and the European teams, but you're gonna see more of the Middle East teams, and I'm happy for the Middle East. But at the same time, just a little bummed because some of the players I wanted to watch are not gonna play, but could have happened at the end of the season too.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get right into it. Let's unpack sort of the group stages, what we can expect from these groups, and we'll sort of go in order.
Yeah.
So let's start with the group of every World Cup, the group of the home country. Sorry, Group A.
Yeah. Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and Netherlands. That's it's not the best or the group to look forward to, but at the end of the day, it's a World Cup. You'll be watching every game almost. Yeah, it's a group where Netherlands, you expect them to top it, especially with the form they're coming in. Louis van Gaal has been shaping that team in a way, and he's a successful Dutch manager. He's taken them to the final 2010.
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
2014 also they came third. So they should top this group easily, in my opinion.
Yeah, they should top this group, and a lot of people actually, I think they put Senegal to actually beat Netherlands and end up top before the Mane injury.
Yeah.
Because they do have a lot of X-factor players in there, Koulibaly, and of course
Mendy and Mane, yeah.
All Chelsea players.
Yeah. yeah, but and also for many people or fans of the Senegal national team, it's their golden generation. They just won the AFCON. They have players who when they peak 30 years old, 32. So it's kind of their time. It was
kind of their window.
Exactly.
Right?
It's the Belgian golden generation.
Exactly.
Almost. And that's why everyone was hyping them up a lot. And
it's tough. Football can be cruel sometimes.
Exactly, yeah. It's sport. Sport is cruel a lot of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so who do you think is, Group A, we're talking about the Senegal and the Dutch.
Yeah,
who do you think is running up that group?
I think Senegal is going to be the runner-up in that group, but I don't think we should be sleeping on Qatar because they do have home court, right? And they've had a lot of time together, that team.
Exactly.
Since they made the bid for that World Cup. From the second that they got it, they have been building their team towards it.
Yeah, definitely.
They've sort of gone ahead and recruited players from other countries who have the eligibility to play for Qatar. They've kept this group together for 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
And they've had the same coach sort of guiding that process, and they've put so much money into it and effort into it.
Definitely.
And if you notice, ever since the World Cup was announced in Qatar, a lot of experienced international players went over and played in the Qatari league.
Yeah.
Like Xavi went out there.
Coach,
and those things shouldn't be taken lightly, in my opinion, because that experience, even in the league, is going to develop a lot of players around them. So Qatar should not be slept on. I don't have much expectations for Ecuador in this competition. Purely because I feel like the South American teams, other than your Brazils and your Argentinas, they are a little bit lightweight, in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah.
I agree. Qatar also had a lot of preparation time. I think they've been on a camp for 2 months, I think.
They've put a halt on their league.
Yeah, they've been playing a lot, and Xavi has also been very appreciative of a couple of their players who are going to be in the World Cup. And if Xavi is praising a player, he definitely
means there's something
there. There's something there, exactly. And yeah, Ecuador, they had good qualifying apparently, but the last couple of months they have not been doing that good as a team. So I expect them to come fourth and Qatar to make that third. And yes, specifically because of that Mane injury, Qatar should not be slept on even more.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be something. Yeah.
Okay, Group B then.
Group B. The English one.
This is where I speak because England is the team that, I know he knows this, that I I'm predicting to win it all.
Okay.
I see them going all the way.
They're gonna bring it home.
They're bringing it home.
Okay.
I know it's a cliche and we say this all the time, but I think if things were a little bit different, they would have been Euros champions and they would have been favorites at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's easy to underestimate them because of the history that comes with England at the World Cup.
At just major tournaments.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't predict them to win it, but I definitely want the team to win it because they have a lot of Premier League players, and I always appreciate, like, I watch a lot of Premier League games, and I will always support the Premier League players because I watch them a lot and I know how these players are, and it's a good group. The group they're taking is a good group of players.
Let's read that group out. It's England, Iran, USA, and Wales. So it's gonna be US against England. That's going to be a very interesting fixture.
Yeah, the US have really like young players who are like raw talents. Like Giorena is a good player. Wesley, I think Weston McKennie. He's also so they have good players and they should not be slept on. Yeah, we'll say that. I think England are going to top the group, but it's going to be a tough task. But I also think that among all the other groups, that this is one of the easier groups that England could have asked for. So I think England should definitely top it.
Right. I 100% agree. And I think USA have a very unique advantage at the World Cup, which is the fact that they will have a lot of fans at the World Cup. Yeah. Because, well, they're economically rich. So the US dollar, Qatar, in fact, is probably going to expect to make a lot of revenue from tourists from America, right? Yeah. And with America being, the US being at the World Cup, I can see a situation where they basically fill up a lot of the stadium and they could have some crowd advantages there. Yeah. Because, well, Americans love vacations and there's no better place to be at this time of the year than in Qatar, right?
Yeah, that's not wrong.
I do want to say a quick bit about Wales because Gareth Bale, who historically has been really good at major tournaments for Wales, and we've spoken about this, about how he's moved to the MLS and sort of maybe he knows the game, the American game better now that he's moved to the MLS. Yeah. So Iran and Wales not to be slept on, but I would say that England and US should be favorites to go through and get out of this group.
I'm favoring Wales to actually come out of this group because
that's very possible.
Because historically Wales in the recent, not historically like a lot, but in major tournaments, especially the last two Euros, everyone slept on them. Like we said that they're not going to get out of the group stages. They squeezed their way out, and the one before that they made the semifinals against Portugal, and like I think they can make it out. I don't know how of course United States is a good group of players, but I just want to believe in Bale. It's his last few years.
I agree because Wales are pretty experienced compared to the US.
The US, exactly.
US has a very young core, and the World Cup is just a different playground, right? And the nerves are gonna hit, and that's where the experience of Wales could be put forward. But on paper,
the US
should win this.
Yeah, I also
should go runner up.
I also say that because the US had some tough time in qualifying too.
Right, they did.
Wales had, obviously they came out of Europe, where the competition is considered to be much more tougher. Yeah, and that's why I think that Wales are a little more favorites for me to get out of that group more than the United States.
That's a great shout.
Yeah.
Group C. So Group C is Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. Yeah. This is an interesting group and a lot at stake for a lot of people because this is probably Lionel Messi's last World Cup, and I'm sure no football fan would be mad or upset. Maybe some Ronaldo fanboys. No football fan would be upset if Messi won and went ahead and won it all.
He's the greatest of all time. I mean, one of the greatest of all times, and we're all looking forward. Like, I think there are a lot of people behind Argentina this year to win it all.
I do want to give a shout out to my boy Julian Alvarez. Who is going to be at the World Cup.
At the age of what, 22, 21?
22, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
And I think he's already scored a couple of goals in the friendlies that have happened.
Yeah.
So he's someone we should look forward to. I
Mhm.
think we can see him in a very unique role now because, of course, at City it's a different story
Yeah.
because of I won't name.
He should be not named because he's not in the World
He's
Cup.
not at the World Cup.
Yeah.
So yeah, on paper though,
Yeah.
I think we can agree Argentina
Argentina
should
wins
be
it. Yeah.
leaving this group in first place.
Yeah. It's an interesting. The second one is
Very interesting.
because I think none of these teams like should be slept on because
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia has been going through some friendly, like they are playing a lot of friendlies.
Yeah.
So they are going through a camp. They are gelling together. Mexico and Poland. Mexico have their own bunch of players who are very good, and Poland has has Lewandowski. Like he himself by himself is an elite striker. So.
Right.
I don't know who makes second here.
This
honestly.
is a tough one to predict, and I think Saudi Arabia, like you said, they've taken, I think Qatar's sort of
approach.
I mean, Qatar has taken their approach actually
yeah.
because they've been building this for a bit now.
Yeah.
So that group can be interesting. I think anything can happen, but. End of the day, I do agree that I think Poland should be going through.
Even I think Poland makes it out of this group too. Yeah. Come second.
So Group D.
Yeah.
Group D.
I'm gonna have a shocker in this group actually.
Okay, I'm expecting you to. Okay, let's see. Group D is France, Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia.
Yeah.
And let me predict. I think he's gonna say Denmark finishes top.
Yeah, I'm buying all the stocks for the Denmark team because I think.
What's the spread?
Because this Denmark team, they have beaten France twice. Well, that is one of the reason why I'm saying that. But they have a very good coach who has been coaching them for a long time. Euros, they made the
100%.
semifinals. They're very good. Like they don't have superstars.
Yeah.
But they're just a good group.
Together.
Yeah, they're playing together, and I think they make it top unless France like. They get like Varane, like he's also having some fitness problems, and their front three is let's be real, their front three is the best out there. Yeah. So if that front three is like guns out, like they come out and like then there's a chance that they probably top that group. For 100%. Me right now, Denmark is gonna top that group.
That's a great shout because Denmark are that team. They are really good. For me. The reason we're even talking about the world champions not finishing the top of the group, maybe it's the whole World Cup winner curse that we've historically seen in the last few years.
It's been 60 years since like we've had a World Cup winner repeat. It doesn't happen that much.
So it's interesting that France would leave behind Pogba and Kante because they were literally the anchor for that entire team.
Yeah, exactly.
And without them, that 2018 World Cup they would not have won.
No, they wouldn't have. Like
so, even though Pogba and Kante they've had comparatively weak seasons the past two seasons, and also injuries, of course. The past 2 seasons they've been kind of weak. As opposed to when they were coming to the previous World Cup. Even with that being said, I think for France they've never disappointed. Yeah. And together, they're an unstoppable duo in my opinion. And to be leaving them behind, I see as a move for the future. I think that they don't expect to win this, even with Pogba and Kante, and they would rather give their World Cup experience to Tchouaméni, to Camavinga, and sort of build them up for future years. Yeah. So I see that to be a sort of issue for them. Yeah. But there is the wild card, which I will say, which is Karim Benzema is going to be playing up front.
That is true.
Mbappe.
It's not Olivier Giroud anymore, but that's exactly why the front three of Benzema, Griezmann, and Mbappe is never going to disappoint. Right. And that's one of the reasons why I can see France winning this group. But apart from that, I don't know. Like, their defense has been weak recently, and I think their manager Deschamps has had his complaints from their fans because they say that he plays a lot of negative football, which is three at the back system. So like he plays with all these attackers. He's playing more defensive football,
Right.
and that is one of the reasons why I feel like France will not top the group.
Right.
They'll still make it out, no doubt about it. But I think Denmark makes it ahead of them because of their struggles and recent struggles.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's the World Cup. Anything can happen. And Benzema can probably the top goal scorer or something.
The clutchest player in the past few years.
Exactly. So. And the Ballon d'Or winner.
And the Ballon d'Or winner. The best player in the world right now.
Right now, exactly.
So can't sleep on him.
Exactly.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Group E. Mm-hmm. Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan.
The group of death? Is this the group of death?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Low key, I'd say so.
Because Japan is a good group.
Japan's a good team, and Costa Rica's a great team as well. I know because we've seen Costa Rica play against Canada in the qualifiers, and they're not an easy team to play against.
Exactly.
But Spain are not as good as they used to be as well. They also are going through sort of that France thing. Yeah. Where they've taken a lot of youngsters. They've taken Gavi, who's like 18 years old now, to the World Cup at 18. Crazy, right?
Exactly. And like Spain has had... They don't really have an attacker. Like, who's their striker? Morata? Like, it's a little up
uncertain,
in the air. Exactly. And like, they don't really have that attacker. And that's the problem.
They don't have a core, in my opinion.
Yeah,
they used to have that core. Xavi, Iniesta.
Yeah.
They used to have Sergio Ramos, Piqué.
Yeah, and Ramos is not even going to the World Cup.
He is not going to the World Cup.
Which Luis Enrique, I'm sure, got a lot of stick for that.
For sure.
And he's also going to get a lot of stick. I think he likes to play Busquets more than Rodri, even though Rodri is like more dynamic now and like Busquets is aging a bit.
Yeah.
So he has his favorism and like he'll pick and choose kind of. So it'll be interesting to see the Spain bunch. They're a ball possessive team. They like their possession. And it'll be fun to watch them. But Germany also has the same problem with no attackers. They have Havertz playing front, who's been poor for Chelsea.
I think Leroy Sané.
Leroy Sané plays striker.
Well, he won't play striker. He'll probably play like left, on the wings. Yeah. But on his day, if he gets going, he's something else, man.
Yeah, and Jamal Musiala, he's also going to be playing in that World Cup.
Yeah, it would be interesting if we saw Musiala play in the playoffs or the knockout stages against England, which is his home country.
Yeah.
I mean, he has both eligibilities, but he chose Germany, which is... You don't think of that happening, right?
Yeah, imagine you wanting to choose between England and Germany, two powerhouse nations.
That's a great privilege to have.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, and but personally, I think that it's such a hard
it's
one,
so
right?
tough. Yeah,
I think Germany will
win the group.
Okay,
I personally think Spain wins the group.
And the other comes second, whoever that is.
Germany comes second. I would love to say Japan, but
my god, that would be insane.
It'd be insane, and like they're a good bunch. They have like I think Mitoma from Brighton,
right?
Minamino from I don't know. I don't know
where he plays
anymore. Yeah,
that's
but
true.
They're good strikers. They have a good forward options, but they are powerhouse.
The greatest right back of all time, Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu.
Probably a Premier League winner.
We'll see. Spain and Germany. That's my lineup, and I guess it's Germany and Spain.
And Spain for me.
Yeah.
Moving on.
The next group
F. This is one to write home about.
Yeah.
Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia.
I think this is the most balanced group in terms of...
It's a very, very balanced group.
It's very... because you have the experience in Belgium, all the experienced players...
And the stars.
Like,
on
obviously.
paper, easily, Belgium's the best team here.
In the group, easily. Canada is a new uprising team. Like, they have not... Like, a lot of young players in that group. And you have watched them play, actually, right? In the qualifying?
I watched, like, almost all of the games that happened in Toronto, in Ontario.
Yeah.
So... I have seen a lot of the Canadian national team play, and they play some really good football, actually.
Yeah.
I think they play a little bit of possession and fast-paced game, which I think a lot of people underestimated in the qualifying, which is why Mexico finished behind Canada.
Exactly.
So I think this team plays very much together, and I am expecting great things, and I think the biggest achievement for this Canada team, for the team, is getting out of that group stage. If they do, it will be a great achievement.
Yeah.
For your first time, all of them are here for the first time,
Yeah.
right? And just it would be a great achievement.
Yeah.
And Alphonso Davies, who did get that scaring injury towards the end of the season, but the news is saying that he will be at the World Cup, so that is something to look forward to.
Yeah. This is a good group because even Morocco is really a good team.
Yeah, and speaking of Morocco, actually, Morocco just sacked their old manager like a month and a half ago.
Yep.
And the old manager actually said he basically banned Hakim Ziyech from the national team.
Yep.
And the associations basically fired the coach in order to get Ziyech
back.
Which is crazy to think about, the power that players have over coaches in this generation.
Yeah. I guess also because of the successes of the coach, I guess. But yeah,
right.
Ziyech is...
All of it.
He's, I think, their one and only star in that Morocco side.
Pretty much.
And they would want their star to be there for the World Cup. Mm. And he also scored a screamer from a halfway screamer in the friendlies, which is insane to watch because I've not watched him play this entire season, being a Chelsea fan.
Croatia. We have to talk about Croatia.
The World Cup finalists.
World Cup finalists.
That was an insane final.
Luka Modric is 37 going into this World Cup.
37.
It doesn't matter. He's the LeBron James of soccer.
I swear.
He's the true LeBron James of soccer.
Yeah.
Who's Christian Pulisic?
His passing is incredible, and he's gonna keep doing that. Croatia will stick like their Luka Modric, Kovacic, Perisic. All these players are gonna be there, and they're gonna be good. I think Croatia tops this group. I
think on paper, Croatia have to top this group for me as well. So I think it will be Croatia and Belgium.
Yeah.
But what I'm expecting to happen is Belgium-Canada.
Yeah.
So I hope that is the case. But on paper, I would imagine Croatia they have that experience. They've gone all the way. Mm-hmm. So I'd say Croatia-Belgium should be the end. Mm-hmm. But
I don't trust the Belgian defense, and I have the problems with it.
Right.
And I personally think Croatia tops it. And I can see Canada coming second and coming out of that group. I'm being optimistic.
I really hope that is the case.
Yeah. And
moving ahead, Group G.
Wow.
The World Cup favorites. The betting odds are saying now that Brazil are favorites to win the World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, look at that team. Like, why won't they be favorites?
The team is just stacked. I think the biggest, I suppose, barrier for them winning would be sort of like cohesion and the way they play with each other.
Yeah, but they have been, like, last few years, they've been playing so good.
They have been, but
we'll never know exactly. The World Cup will tell us.
And going into this, Brazil have to be favorites for very obvious reasons. They have a good balance, which I can't say for a lot of teams. They have a good balance of youngsters as well as experienced players. They have your slightly older players in Neymar, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
And you have your very young players in Vinicius Jr. You have... is Rodrigo going to the World Cup?
Yes, he is.
He is going to the World Cup.
It's just crazy for me. Brazil have so many players. So it's so stacked that players like Gabriel Jesus, Fabinho, and Ederson might not even start for them.
It's crazy.
It's insane. Like, these players are Champions League, Premier League winners, and they're probably not going to be even starting, and maybe not even playing in case of Ederson, I guess, but you never know. Brazil tops this group. They have to win every single game here. But so the second one.
We've actually had a conversation about this, and we ended up disagreeing.
Yeah.
I think that Switzerland is going to finish second in this group.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because we've seen what they can do at the Euros. They took out France in the Euros.
Yep.
They almost took out Italy if not for the penalty shootout. They basically held their own against the top teams of Europe. And their system is very efficient. And I think we can see something from them this year. Mm-hmm. You, on the other hand, you think Serbia is going to...
It's the front line. Like, all these players they look good. And Serbia, I think they have been having a good form coming to the World Cup.
This is gonna be Mitrovic all over again in FPL.
FPL, just that swing, eh? Like he might not have points. No,
anything can happen.
But I think this is a Switzerland is a good team. But I have Serbia as my underdogs, not Denmark, because I think Denmark already a good team.
Yeah.
I think Switzerland are gonna be the underdogs for this World Cup, and I mean,
you said it.
Serbia.
He said it. Clip it.
I'm saying Serbia are the underdogs for this World Cup. I think they can make a run. They can be the Croatia for this World Cup. I back them for this year.
Wow. Okay, that's. I personally think that's a bit much. The Croatia of the World Cup. But
no. Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Exactly.
We'll
of this World Cup.
Finally, the Group H.
Oh. Yeah.
This is a good group as well.
Yeah.
Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. Uruguay and Portugal, very interesting. Portugal's a whole new ballpark. I think we can make a video just about Portugal and all the drama that's happening there because of another person who must not be named.
Yeah. If anything, I think Uruguay. If it wasn't for Serbia, I would have said Uruguay the underdog. That team is also looking really good. Experienced youngsters. Yeah. It's a good mix.
That's so good. They have one of the best midfielders in the world right now, Valverde.
Freddie Valverde. Yeah.
And
Bentancur has been also
really good for Spurs this year. And they have, of course, the front strikers of Luis Suarez.
Yeah, that's why it's a good mix of that experience.
That team could do really well. And I do expect Portugal to finish this group top because I think there's a lot of quality in there in terms of, I'm not. Maybe this is a bit of a City bias, but I think Bernardo Silva he can control the game
really
against
well.
any team in the world. They have a solid defense. They have Ruben Dias. They have Cancelo.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah.
I think a lot depends on how they decide to play with both Bruno and Ronaldo because there has been questions about whether those two can play together.
Yeah.
So if they can figure that out, which I think they somehow will, I think they can top this group.
I don't think they will figure that out. I have. It's not that Bruno and Ronaldo, but the fact that their manager also has the Portuguese fans have had their complaints with the manager that he plays a little. I don't know. His football has not been the ones that like Portuguese fans like.
Yeah.
But not only that, Ronaldo is not the biggest of the pressers, and that's how. No offense to Ronaldo, but like his last few years, he's not been a pressing machine.
He's worried about the wrong press.
Yeah. Yeah.
He went to Piers Morgan.
Exactly. But like I just think that they are not a group right now that is gonna take it all, but I think they'll come out of the group. They did come out of the group in Euros. Everyone slept on them in the Euros 2016, and they came out of the group and they won it all somehow. Exactly. So yeah, they will come out of the group, but I'm favoring Uruguay to come first and Portugal to come second.
That's fair.
But shout out to Ghana.
Shout out to South Korea as well. Because they do have slightly out of form right now. But on his day, one of the best wingers in the world, inside forwards in the world, Heung-min Son. So we saw what he did last World Cup to Germany. He single-handedly took them out, and we can see some incredible performance.
I think Germany took themselves out.
Technically, they did, but let's give the credit
to Son. Yeah.
So that's sort of
our group
predictions, or group stages. We sort of unpacked that. Let's talk dark horse. I know we mentioned a couple.
Yeah.
Let's hear what you think. Dark horses?
I mean, I've already given my answer. I'm backing the Serbian team to be my dark horse. Okay. Who's your dark horse is the question.
I am going to say it's going to be an obvious answer, but I'm going to say Canada.
Oh, I like that answer.
Yeah, I think people are underestimating Canada because they're not typically known as a footballing nation.
Yeah. Plus, also they played we play in the North American continent where they say the competition is nothing.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of ideology sort of surrounding the football here, but as I've seen a lot of these games, and this team can play football.
Yeah,
and I think they have to get out of the group. That will be a big achievement.
Right.
But I think they can play really well one-on-one against any team in the world. But we'll see. At the World Cup, anything can happen.
Exactly.
Okay.
So who's your young player of the year for this World Cup?
Okay. I'm gonna say Gavi.
Gavi? Okay.
I think he is excellent.
I have a question. What about Jude Bellingham?
Jude Bellingham is really good, but I don't think he's going to play that many games for England.
Really? Okay.
I think it's going to be typically Rice and Calvin Phillips if Phillips is fit. And if Phillips is not fit, then I expect maybe like Henderson. Is he?
Really?
Yeah.
Henderson is there, yeah.
I don't think Bellingham is going to play that many games.
Okay.
Maybe he comes off the bench.
Okay.
But I think Gavi and Pedri, they both will start the games. So I'm expecting them. Expecting Gavi to put on a show for everyone. Even at 18, I think he's a very talented kid. So I think he's going to be a...
Yeah, and he's definitely going to get the minutes. I think he's Enrique's Barcelona wonder kid, right?
Yeah, wonder kid. He's like Frank Lampard's Mason Mount.
Exactly. I think I'm going to back Jude Bellingham because Phillips he's not been fit the entire season. Not played any minutes, but again, it's Gareth Southgate's team, so he's gonna decide who's gonna play. But if Bellingham plays, if he starts the first game against Iran, I feel like this kid has. Why am I calling him a kid? But he has the.
He's like what 4 years younger than you. 3
Yeah,
years younger
I guess
than you can call him kid.
Yeah, Jude Bellingham, what he's done for Dortmund is incredible this season. He also took the captaincy armband at one point. At that age. Shout out to Jamal Musiala as well. I feel like he can also make the young player. Yeah. I think he plays incredible football for Bayern. Being in that age and starting for Bayern is incredible. So for me, I think Bellingham will be young player of the year.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go to winners, I want to ask you, who do you think is going to win the Golden Boot?
Is it going to be Harry Kane again? The way Neymar is playing, man, like it's so hard to take that away from him. They'll be in a group where we know they're gonna top, and a group where it's like significantly easier than other groups. I think Brazil is gonna score a lot of goals, especially their attack is incredible, and I think it has to be Neymar who wins the Golden Boot for me and player of the year too. I think he's gonna just shine in the World Cup.
That's a great shot.
And win Ballon d'Or if he wins the World Cup, I guess. Never know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
For me, again, you said it. It's obvious. If I predict England to go all the way, I gotta back Harry Kane to be the top scorer. He's gonna be on penalties. Raheem Sterling's gonna win a couple anyway, so he's gonna score 4 goals in the group stages by himself. So I'm gonna go Harry Kane.
Okay, I like that answer.
Yeah.
So I guess that also
you only liked the answer because I said Raheem Sterling's gonna win penalty.
No,
you know that's true.
No, I like that answer because I feel like this will reflect on who we think is gonna be the winner / runners up.
I think you're gonna say Brazil to be the winner.
Yeah, right? they're that good. Like it's so hard to look away from them, because it's tough between Argentina and Brazil. Because Argentina have a good group too, and that will be the Copa America final all over again.
Right.
And we all expect them to be in the semifinals because that's how the path is gonna be. Both of them can't make the finals. I would love Messi to go all the way and win it all, but just that Brazilian team is just so hard to look away from, and I just think they're gonna win it all.
Okay, to finish off, you know my answer. Everyone knows. I've been alluding to it this entire video. I think it's coming home.
Okay.
England are gonna win it.
Okay.
And I think the team is just. They've had their ups and downs, but they've been together for a bit. He's not moved from those two systems of that, 4-3-3, 5 at the back, 3 at the back systems. Those two are the only ones he plays. Kyle Walker being fit is going to be so important. If he plays in that right center back position, it's going to be a different kind of defense for them.
Yeah.
And if they're going to be playing a little bit conservative, which is I understand after their history defensively. Yeah. So if they can somehow maintain it and get the goals, which I think they will, because I think Phil Foden on the right, Raheem Sterling on the left, and Harry Kane on the front is pretty deadly. If they play this front three, it's going to be a really good tournament.
So I want England to win it. And I have them as runners up because I think their path compared to Brazil's is a little bit easier through to the World Cup. They don't have to face the Argentina in semifinals or anything, but at least that's what it looks like. But I think England will be runners up, and there will be a whole video of us talking about Gareth Southgate and his tactics and how England could win the World Cup. But I think they have a strong squad, and you never know. Maybe it is coming home.
Maybe it is. That's a good place to end the video. Is it gonna come home? Is it not gonna come home?
Maybe it comes home to Canada. You'll also never know about that.
You know what? There's yeah.
Okay. What are the odds of that?
I was gonna say the odds, but then I was like, no, let's not promote betting.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yep.
Alright. See ya.
Yeah.